Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League. It's nice to be back on camera and back here with my wonderful co-caster, Dan Egad Caruso. I am Reed Rapid Melton, and we're taking you through 6 games today featuring our starting matchup. Probably one of the best games of the night. It's going to be Curse Academy taking on Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. And as two of the favorites all season long, it's going to be great to see them battle it out here for the first game of I think we're next to last day of the season. So getting down to it, we're going to hop into picks and bans for game number 1 of the afternoon.
I don't know how you can call this the best game. Like the best game. Oh, our game is
that's true. That's true.
The casters.
Cognitive will be playing, aka Zipblock and his female Doges. They're playing next, but it's a special kind of a good game. We're into what should be a relatively even matchup between two of the best teams in NACL, ranked number 2 and 3 respectively. We've got Curse Academy taking on Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. You can see it on your screen right now. Nidalee and Shyvana being banned out already versus Cloud9 Tempest. You can see the Nidalee ban towards Bishu. No surprises there. Shyvana ban towards Yuzuki. So once again, very standard bans for Curse Academy. But for Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, they're going with a little bit something else.
All right, so they're kind of targeting away the Lulu and Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, that he's probably going to be one of the most banned champions now, especially with that buff to his ultimate.
It's like what
6
Voy
seconds of stealth as well as
40% damage reduction. Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It's pretty cool. I think Insect did to Kha'Zix what Voy did to Olaf. He's just like, hey, I played this and I won a game, and nobody else is going to be allowed to play it for a very long time. So we're not going to see Kha'Zix out there. Lulu, kind of in the same category. She's the new Kassadin. And in fact, the new Kassadin is, I don't know what he is, but still has yet to find a place. Heard good things about Jungle Kassadin, Dan. But
I don't ever
we'll
want to
see.
see that.
We'll
please.
see. And getting through the last bans, of course, they are actually going to ban the Elise. Elise, the recipient of some very heavy nerfs, and especially guys like CLG's Dexter said he's played his first and last games of Elise for a very long time. So we'll have to see how that works out, but we're getting through the first pick here for Curse Academy, and I got to say, yeah, it's going to be Thresh. No questions asked there. Thresh, especially for K1 Pro, maybe could have gone with Zyra. That's the only other support we've seen him on. But Thresh, a great champion, and more importantly, to take it away from Glebe Larbu.
That also opens open the Morgana pick for Glebe Larbu if he wants to do that. Could go for Leona if anything. There's still Evelynn. She's actually in a decent spot now because people want to ban out, Pantheon, Kha'Zix, and Elise. So it's like, Evelynn, I'm going to be stealth the entire time. I'll be able to set up ganks. Pink wards are expensive early on. You don't want to really pick those up. But if you do find some kills on Curse Academy side, we'll see a bunch of pink wards littering the map. And Elimination, Renekton's still available. The Shyvana was banned out. But, this Ryze, he's still pretty good. Could save him for last pick, if anything. Oh, there.
Or could save him for first pick, Dan. All right, well,
he does have some counters,
we've seen Yuzuki play the top lane Ryze a few times, and while Rux brought it out, I believe, last season, we really haven't seen Ryze around for a very long time. And then Leopard busted out at IEM, and everybody's like, hey, wait a second, that champion's pretty good. But credit to, I think it was Nien from CLG that was the first player to play that professionally, at least in the major tournaments in NALCS. So it's going to be the 2 blue champions. We have a blue team comp here.
Smurfs.
From
Cloud9 Smurf Tempest.
The Cloud9 HyperX Smurfs.
Smurf 9. I like that better.
I wonder if Ryze is the Papa Smurf. I mean, he's got like all the facial hair and stuff.
Yeah. All right. So while we ponder that one, looks like Pat looking possible for a move, but his Vi is still available. We do have Lee Sin if he wants to go for that too. He's going to play both those quite a heavy amount. Duosec could look for the ADC for Mash Me if he wants. But LeBlanc, one of his favorite mids down there, very bursty, very assassin heavy. We've seen a lot of assassins in this meta that are pretty good. Jarvan, he's been sleeping for quite a while. People really don't like him. Aatrox jungle,
It might be for Aatrox top lane.
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot in ULCS.
He pretty much just dies.
Yeah, he has great all-in potential, and kind of like Zac top lane, he's got that revive passive. Really helps you play a lot more aggressively because you got a second life coming your way. So it's a lock-in on LeBlanc, and Duosec had some of the craziest LeBlanc games this season that I've ever seen. I believe culminating with like a Baron steal with a distortion over the wall. He's got some moves, so it's going to be nice to see him on a comfort champion, but with Bishu banned away from Nidalee, or Nidalee banned away from Bishu, they banned that entire player.
Oh, Kassadin wasn't banned because, 2-week hiatus, because he was reworked. So
that's true. So
Kassadin
isn't allowed to be picked here. But the guy that actually just came out of that banned prison was Vel'Koz. Now, at least in the games that I've been watching, I've been seeing a lot of success from Vel'Koz. I believe Yusui actually did play that once. Was it Yusui? Or
No,
was
that,
it?
that was the other tournament we
That's true. That's true. We've seen Vel'Koz, or at least I've only seen Vel'Koz played once competitively. So it's been a long time since we've seen a brand new champion just bust out and be super good. Not sure Vel'Koz is that champion, but it's a possibility, although not going to be for this.
Was just
Wait.
locked from Ashmi there.
Hello?
Well, Annie was picked up for the support role for Glee Glabro despite receiving some of those early damage nerfs. She scales even heavier into late game now. We're going to see Bishu take up the Ziggs, who he just farms on like crazy, can hold on for a long while, and be that heavy carrier that the team needs with those bombs. That leaves open Pat's jungle still potentially, or top lane for, you know...
I would expect Rux to be running the Aatrox. It's a champion that he used to be very, very comfortable on, but still not sure what to expect out of that. I mean, Aatrox jungle theoretically should work the same way. The only reason we stopped seeing Aatrox jungle is because A, you break his passive early and he's really, really vulnerable, and B, he got hit with some nerfs that hurt his very early jungling. So if that's the top lane pick, then you're still looking, okay, it's not going to be
Tom's
Poppy.
rolling over in his bed somewhere.
It's true, or his grave, or wherever he likes to hang out. It's not going to be a Poppy. If it is, then we're in, okay, that's probably a placeholder. I would desperately hope it's a placeholder. But keep in mind, we've got Curse Ashme, or Don't Ash Me there. It's been a long time since I've seen Ashe in competitive play, and mostly very mobile. Takes a long time to scale up, but we'll see if that's what it takes to win this out. Last pick 80 carry for Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. Not too often you see that.
Yeah, not too often at all. So, Ashe mobile, we said it before. Jinx wouldn't be too bad of an answer, but you know, she's susceptible to the arrow. Lucian, Caitlyn, you know, the standards. Sivir, not too bad either. Can completely negate a volley or an arrow if he wants. We'll just wait. You know, Altec has been someone who really likes playing Lucian. He loves the mobility, loves the carry potential that has. Could go for something safe in Caitlyn and get that super harass lane with the range. I don't know. I think Sivir might not be too bad of a choice because she can stop some block damage. She can stop pretty much any spell she wants, deciding on how he reacts, obviously. And she can also start fights with her team.
Yeah, the only problem is that Sivir recently got hit with a little bit of a nerf. I mean, it was a buff to her spell shield, to where if you land a successful spell shield, you get more mana back. But it also was an increase in mana cost of, I believe it was Ricochet. Or is it Boomerang Blade? I think it was Ricochet. But one of her big AoE spells did get hit like that. So a little bit of a nerf to the champion, but we're seeing it here. And we'll get a chance to see how it stacks up there and also get a little bit of feedback on what exactly their placeholder pick was. We are back into picks and bans. We'll probably get a chance to find out off the bat because I think that top lane matchup was what we were really confused about. It's like, is it Aatrox? Is it Aatrox jungle?
Poppy jungle. All right, so it's Gragas top Aatrox jungle.
All right, so Gragas top. Gragas being the last pick. Apparently,
K1 Pro doesn't own it.
Yeah, K1 Pro, not a big Gragas support player.
Yeah, maybe that Ashe was a placeholder too.
I've actually seen Gragas support before, and it works because you have a lot of good poke and you have the attack speed slow on your barrel. So
it's like Ezreal W back in the day.
It's true. Ezreal's oh my gosh, don't remind me about that. That was horrible.
So there they are. It's gonna be Ashe and Thresh bot going up against Sivir Annie. That's very interesting.
Yeah, the Sivir Annie combo is a little bit weird. Very long range for the support, very high range for the support, low range for the AD carry. But for Ashe and Thresh, that is a lot of poke damage, and you always gotta love the like flay into arrow combos, or a lot of shenanigans to go down there. And if you're looking for hard engage, Ashe arrow is a great way to start the fight. You have to make sure to land it, and we'll see if Don't Mash Me has what it takes to get those Ashe arrows flying on out there and connecting on a Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. And with that, we're going to head into a little bit of spectator delay. So first, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. I think they've been pretty cool, and you guys have been pretty cool too. So I want to thank everybody for supporting us this season, starting off with Loot Crate. So if you guys click on the crate of loot right down below your screen, you can head over to lootcrate.com, where for $13.37 a month, you can... There we go. For $13.37 a month, you can sign up to have Loot Crates shipped to your door. It's a monthly subscription service. When you open the Loot Crate up, it's kind of like the Nestle Wonder Ball of loot. You got to open it up and see what's inside.
It's like a Kinder Egg.
But without delicious... Well, I guess they could... Okay.
They could have something inside.
It's delicious in different ways. But yeah, head over to lootcrate.com and check out all the cool stuff that you can get from them, because it is a very cool place to be. So next up, probably should hit up Phoenix. I don't know. I'm trying to save the best for last. Phoenix peripherals, if you want to check them out, you can head over to phoenixcollection.com or just click the little Phoenix right down below your screen to check out some of the most impeccably crafted gaming peripherals out there. Like they make mice, keyboards, headsets, and I believe a mouse pad as well, and they all look fabulous. So even if you don't plan on buying anything, definitely head over there and check them out because it still looks really, really good.
All right, the last two, you're going to check out low class, get yourself put into a nice little environment in a private stream just for you, and with your favorite pro and their favorite role with your favorite champion. You can check them out. They've had Odd One on Pantheon Jungle. They've had LeBlanc for Hotshot.gg. So sign up for those. They're very cheap, very affordable, and very fun. And then, you know, the music you've been hearing in between Monster Cat, they provided it for us, and they're very wonderful for doing so. And with that, we go to commercial break. We have Falcon versus Patty taking on Cloud9 Network 7.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League. We're here in Season 2 and almost done with the regular season. We've got one more day of games tomorrow. We're starting things out strong with our next to last day of Week 5 with Curse Academy, your team in the blue, taking on Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, your team in the red. I am Rapid, here with EGAD. We're starting things off with a very dark jungle here for both teams, as now Trinket Wards, you can only place him at 2 minutes.
Yeah, so it's pretty rough. We're going to see Bouncing come in from Bishu. He's spotted him out. It's actually going to be top LeBlanc for Rux, not top Gragas there. So Duosec taking that one to the mid lane to go up against that Bishu Ziggs. That's
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Double AP comes from actually both sides, so no hard tank. So Pat going to have to fill that role as well as Kez.
You know, I heard that mages were coming back in the top lane, but when I said that, I was more talking about like Vladimir and Rise and
Rumble.
Maybe the Gragas or Rumble, yeah, like you said, but LeBlanc, that's kind of LeBlancers, and it's going to be interesting to see how well that works up there, just because it's not something that we're used to seeing top lane at all. Maybe for some like crazy lane swap situations, but this is the way that Curse Academy are just starting out.
I guess they really want to start out with an aggressive steal here as they're looking for something. They wanted to go invade red, but now they're going to go invade blue. And probably going to see a mirrored steal here from Kez, if anything. He might just start their blue. I feel like that's what he's going to do.
Well, it's going to be a late invade from Cloud9 HyperX Tempest on the blue buff, just coming around right as it's supposed to spawn here. And they'll be there for a blue buff steal. And, of course, blue buff being stolen away for the blue team on Curse Academy. So, yeah, like you said, mirrored steals. So a little bit of a different way to start out the game, but not all, not too strange.
Not too strange at all. And they're actually lane swapping here. They want to put the 2v1 against LeBlanc. Never really seen her do too well in any of those. And now it'll be spotted out. And Rux will be like, oh, I'm not going to be getting that much farm now, am I? And she's going to be sitting back, getting the levels. And we'll see how Rise handles the 2v1s. We've actually seen this a long time ago. Rise used to 2v1, get dove repeatedly, and have a really rough time. The late game, he just snowballs in if he can pick up a kill or two and farm. And we'll see how it goes.
Well, this is a position that actually Rux knows exactly what it's like to be here.
Yeah.
Almost the exact same thing happened yesterday. Turns out that Rise doesn't work too well in 2v1s. He has very low base attack damage. He has very low early wave clear, and so he just gets pushed into turret and dove over and over again. Now, I'll have to see if that's the order of the day. Top lanes, we do have Evelyn coming up there, but is this for the early dive against the Rise?
Yep.
Yeah, he's getting in position, pinging on that back tri-brush top lane. We're going to see a lot of action up there. Bottom lane, still the pushing continues, but Curse Academy just not on that same level of early aggression.
All right, and Rux kind of playing it back, playing it simple. That LeBlanc, Duosec poked out. Kez is going to zone him away. That's a level 1 LeBlanc. Not really able to do anything against a level 3 Evelyn. And now the push continues and intensifies as that turret's going to take a bunch of damage, and Rux has to go back to base. He'll risk getting flash stunned by Andy, if anything. And you do not want to give up first blood in a 2v1 lane.
Now, he does have Distortion first, and that's, you know, a pretty good skill to have if you want to escape things like this. And the top turret is more difficult to take down because of that early 20 base auto attack damage reduction. Bottom lane, you're going to see basically the same thing. I'm not sure why you pick an Ashe for this kind of strategy, maybe just for some early wave clear, but I feel like that's what Caitlyn's meant for.
Very true. I don't know, really. I want to see what their objective is with this, because arrow initiation, she can kite pretty well with her volley and her frozen arrows. Kena gets some extra gold as well from her E and reveal, so you don't like blindly base check. Kez gets poked out just a little bit. We see a body slam come in with a barrel and an ignite on top of Kez, but there's nothing else to chase that one up. They're going to use this pressure from Duosec to zone them away, but Bishu's going to get a bunch of free farmers and harass on that mid-tier too. But it was a good job by Curse Academy to scare them off that 3-man push still.
All right, yeah, and this is something we see more and more from Korean teams. They'll just really aggressively invade the jungle, and then off of that, start the game sort of oscillating back and forth. They'll take like 1 or 2 turrets top lane, bottom lane, same thing will happen, and then you just kind of start the game with a side lane, or both side lanes, that are just very, very far behind and try to push on early objectives like Dragon. So it's a very early couple turrets taken down here, but nothing too crazy. No, like, inhibitors being threatened already.
Yeah, 5-minute inhibitors, game's going crazy.
Hey, stranger things have happened. We've seen almost just that fast an inhibitor, but now we've got already Pat coming into the mid lane. Red buffs on to Bishu, almost taking him down there, but gets the Aatrox passive off of a
That's going to be a bunch of damage. If you can get the bouncing bomb, flash forced out there.
Ooh.
All right, so Pat's able to get away. Kez is now sneaking in.
Oh, Kez.
But he's going to be able to dark flight away, so Pat will stay alive, and despite using that passive, it was a good little escape and a good attempt. They don't get the flash into Bishu though, which is really crucial for that.
I don't understand how Bishu had like nerves of steel. He dropped down sub 100 HP, was underneath his own turret and just kited it out. Knew that he didn't have to flash, and if he was forced to flash, I would have loved to see those reactions just to see if he could hit that in time. But now Kez is going to come help push the mid lane, and we finally have the return of Ryze to that top lane. And
now a lot of damage comes in there from Rux, but they trade it back and forth. Ignite comes out. Rux does not have distortion for a few seconds. Maybe going to look for it. No. Decides not to dive the Ryze. That is not what you want to really do there, but harasses him down. Could look for a dive when his spells reset, but Kez is coming up. A flan to the bot lane onto Rux, though. He eats 2 turret shots.
Wow.
And now Kez going to look to initiate the fight, but Lomonation will get taken down as Rux in the top lane. LeBlanc finds First Blood. Gonna end up dying here to Kez, and that'll be the 1-for-1. But First Blood, after 4 minutes, gets him that extra bit of gold.
And that was actually pretty telegraphed. It's like, hey, I have a 2 HP Ryze at my turret. What's going to happen? LeBlanc just going to dive that through. So nice positioning there by Kez for the counter kill. But at the same time, like you said, First Blood did go down, and a lot of missed CS there for Yuzuki too.
And he teleported back to lane, so that's actually pretty good for Yuzuki because he'll be able to find himself at a decent spot to farm up that tier that he's now stacking. It's going to be a Fiend's Unholy Grail build from Rux, as well as I expect the same from Duosec. Unless he like rushes pure damage and relies on extended fights for, you know, LeBlanc. But Kez gonna be able to use that kill for some buys on his boots and his Spirit Stone. Looking for a possible catch out here on Gleeglar. Will he use the Hawk shot or the what is that, a Dove shot on the Heartseeker Ash skin? I don't know. Might be a Dove. I think it's a pretty Dove.
Love is in the air, quite literally, when you shoot that out. So it's going to be interesting to watch not only those animations. I think Heartseeker Ash is actually not allowed in LCS. It's just sad, which is why you watch NACL. Because you get all the cool skins.
Oh, Pat gets spotted out there by Kez. Bishu is coming through. Pat still has a little while on that Blood Bowl passive. It does have 5-minute cooldown, which is pretty crazy. So you got to play around that while Rux does not pop that sigil. And it looks like they're going to try to look for a blue steal here from Curse Academy's side. They want to deny this away from Kez and Bishu if they can. Pops the speed. He's level 6, though. There's the Ziggs bomb on top of that one. Darkflight comes in on the 3, knocks them up and flaying them backwards. They're kiting this one out. Volley's not enough to pick up a kill, though. Gleeglar finds one. Kez finds the other. Sasha's Cards to zone them to the Tri-Brush, and now they're forced to run in a really bad spot. Gonna get caught out there and stunned up. Double kill for Kez. Can he get the triple is the question. Auto attacks laying in. Altec's like, I got this one, and the minions will finish that off in a 4-for-none. And no blue steal, and losing a dragon. Cloud9 and HyperX Tempest come up big on that fight.
I don't know what Curse Academy were really trying to accomplish there. They were pre-level 6, and they knew that C9T had just hit that big level 6 power advantage, and that's one of the biggest advantages or level advantages in the game. The difference between 5 and 6, kind of just like the early first 3 levels that can really decide a lot of lane matchups. And with that big power spike for Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, they get the first dragon. They're going to get maybe ahead in turrets off of pushing a lane. Okay, no, they're going to stop that. I thought that we were going to see a huge push down bottom lane, but Ashe is back just in time to stop that wave. 5-1 though in kills is going to be a pretty rough place to go.
Flashes forward, but the hunt comes out, pops the volley, gets the spell shield, but that was
and that's an aggressive flash from an Ashe.
You're really never in a position to aggressively flash in as an Ashe. I don't ever think you want to do that, especially with the lack of ability that you have, and giving up your only escape spell in that flash is pretty crazy. So you saw Sivir just pop the hunt and run away, and I thought there was going to be a lane swap here, but Lomonation, CMB should come back down. Man, I'm pretty sure he's going to head back top after picking up that farm. Pink Ward comes out. They spot some wards, take them down to an extra little bit of 30 gold for both of them. I don't know if they look to clear that. They probably will look to clear at, but now Kez, Lomonation, who is Yuzuki, maybe looking to spot out the blue, get the timer on it, and maybe gank Rux again.
And now, yeah, Kez has been all over this map, and primarily hasn't necessarily been going for aggressive. Oh, wait. What? Okay, good.
They make distortion to get over the wall.
I'm not used to seeing top lane LeBlanc, so I was just like, well, what top laner would that work on? Renekton. No Renekton, going to have a rough time. But, hey, it's working out, and the thing that it really hasn't been working out so far is the jungle Aatrox. It's an interesting pick, and for Pat, who is primarily like a Pantheon or Vi jungler, he really likes those high mobility, big engage kind of champions, and
Glebe gonna walk in, face check, gets popped in the box, gets crit up as well. There was the arrow used, but it did get shielded up. There's a teleport coming down too from Yuzuki. They cannot find the kill. They do. Ignite from K1 Pro takes down Glebe Glarber while the chase onto Mashmi gets taken out. Boomerang Blade comes in. He secures a double kill. That's going to be a tier 1 going down. Rux is like, I can't follow this up. That's going to be him just going back to push up top. And a really nice teleport gank in to secure that one up. Pat shows down bot, clears up the rest of that wave, and holds out from them pushing for a little bit longer.
And because Kez is so far ahead in the jungle, he can not only come top lane, but just bully Rux around. And Rux, after starting out with that really weird like invade and then the lane swaps and the early turrets being taken, well, now we're going to see it just get even rougher up in that top lane as he now has to deal with Kez's Evelynn. But at the same time, Evelynn actually pretty squishy, so we'll have to watch out for her own life. And now with Glebe Glarbu coming up top lane, it's the roaming anti-ganks.
Hey, when your support can roam and has mobility boots at this time, why not? See them go mid, see them go top, make everybody's life miserable. Torch just dropping tippers all over the place. We're going to see Mashmi try to farm some golems. He is currently, looks like 16 CS behind. While Duosec actually, this lane in the mid lane, after his first death, you know, at that invade, it's been a little bit quiet. They've just been farming up, and he's actually found a little CS lead. But he's still down in gold because of the 4 assists that Bishu has.
Yeah, and when you look at where the kills have really stacked up on Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, it's kind of in the worst places possible. You've got 3 on Sivir, who already has a Bloodthirster. You've got 3 on Kez, who as an early game Evelynn is just going to run everywhere and kill everything. And almost gets that gank off on a Duosec, but he was playing just far back enough to be able to survive. Sigils down on a Rise, starting off that damage, but nothing. Oh, Death Sentence though, lands on the Kez, but no follow-up just yet.
I was like, all right, they're going to look for him. That was a blind hook onto an Invis champion. That's pretty cool. But now Pinkwood gets cleared through. Kez is going to look to come down towards bot again, make a play happen. Ash still is on that flash for quite a while. Pat clearing out some wards, maybe looking for a dive here. His Bloodwell is back up. Finds out Yuzuki. Going to not connect the slow. We'll back out. And Yuzuki going to have a bit of a rough time here as he does think that he's still getting camped out by Aatrox, possibly. But pings are coming across the map. And this is going to be a tier 2 push coming down bot with all 3 members.
All right, yeah, second tier turret in the bottom lane. It actually should fall. Thresh is there, and so is Ashe, but I mean, that's just dive potential right there. If you want to take down the turret, then what are Curse Academy really going to do about that? That was one of the things that really impressed me about teams like Team 8. Anytime their opponents did something, they always had an answer. They didn't just say, oh, well, we lost this, we're a little bit down, but we're just going to try to hang in there. No, they were just like, aggressive. What can we do to counter this out? If they're all doing this, then what can we all be doing at the same time? And for Curse Academy, that answer is not a whole lot.
Huh, all right. And let's see. Looking to see where Curse Academy can go to find something to kill, because still being down those 5 kills and that 5,000 gold. A little rough. They might actually find Pat here. Kez is going to spot him out at his rates. Going to get some of those hate spikes in. The Ravage comes out. The stun as well from the Andy. A bunch of burst damage. There's the ultimate from Evelynn at this point. They flash over the wall, get the Bloodwell pass, but Rux is here now. Kez is going to get blown up underneath the turret. They still find the kill in the middle of the Dark Flight, but he finds one. Arrow comes in. Going to stun up to Glebe Glarbu, but the turret and Tibbers does too much damage. Altec finds the autos and the Boomerang Blade to pick it up and make it a 2-for-1. Very aggressive. Nice roam from Rux, but still, they're going to lose this turret. Maybe, I don't know, Volley's going to be on a short enough cooldown to spam it out for this wave. And Altec can do the same thing with his Ricochet and Boomerang Blade.
And yeah, just huge wave clear right now. You've got Sivir Ziggs. Like, that's pretty ridiculous. We saw that same Sivir Ziggs combo draw out one of the longest games I have ever seen in OGN over the week. So it's a cool combo if you just want to wave clear, because it works offensively if you want to push, and it works defensively if you want to stall out the game. So really versatile team comp from the Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. Started out a little bit of a weird game, but it looks like the normal part of it has definitely gone in their favor. All
right, and tier 1's down across the board. Looking to see which tier 2 next. Mid and top are available. There's a big wave building up down bot that's slow pushing through. That could be huge for Altec to snag up. BT finished for him, while there was an Avarice Blade picked up early for a little bit later, excuse me, for Mashmi. Baking towards his Infinity's Edge, possibly static shift combination. Do a second run into some mines. They're looking for some wards. They're trying to push down this tier 1. Bishu's definitely not going to let them. While Kez just keeps on looking for these flanks. He will drop in the sweeper. They will find a ward, and Dragon has respawned. So Cloud9, C19 might just look for some kind of play here while Duosec gets stunned up there. Kez gonna look for the fight? No, just taunted him.
And every time I see Duosec get anywhere near Curse Academy, I'm just like trying to think in my head, hey, what's the range on that explosive cast? Because that's really going to be what starts these fights. And to be honest, though, there's a death sentence on a Bishu. Barrel's out there. Could we have this steal? Wisely enough, we're going to jump in, and there's the burst damage.
That was a really, really nice fight from Kez there. They're going to look for a chase possibly on a K1 Pro. Flashing in. Cannot find the prison before K1 Pro's flash. And that'll be a dragon and a kill over to C19 while they rush straight to Baron or to that Ashe, as Mashmi cannot escape this hunt. This is the lack of mobility we talked about. Has flash available, get it crit out and chase down, flashing in with a boomerang blade. Is Altec chasing this one out. Barrel comes in. He's looking for more. Death Sentence does not connect. He's also looking for an auto on to Duosec, but they give up that chase. Maybe Curse Academy looking for a hook, but cannot find it, and that'll be the back out there. But a really, really good fight for C19.
Yeah, Cloud9 really starting to take off, seeing the silver lining to their early strat. That's definitely starting to pay off. You lane swap, you take an early turret, and more importantly, you say, hey, top lane LeBlanc, that's a cool idea. Let's make sure it never does anything. And starting out 0 and 1, now 1 and 2, so a kill coming over to Rux, but definitely not that strong bully performance that he was looking at going up against the Rise early on.
Yeah, and Rise now has his Rod of Ages, stacking up a tier. Looking to possibly get a Seraphs into possibly Banshees if he wants, or Spirit Visage. He could go for both. Pretty crazy MR for this double AP composition coming from Curse Academy and C19 respectively. Could see a lot of MR from both sides, but just the Athenes are going to be doing it for the solo laners. And Negatron Cloak picked up there for Yazuki, so starting to build towards that MR, while a Hex Drinker for Kez.
Yeah, keep in mind, coming into tonight's match, Cloud9, HyperX, Tempest were 11 and 4. Curse Academy were 10 and 6. So they're down, I think, 2 games off of overtaking them in the standings. But this is going to be one of the last games that they play here. Oh, Rux, he's going to take the ultimate too. And where's that distortion? Finds the distortion. There's a little bit of slow. Dark Frenzy's there if he wants to chase, but looks like he's backing off for now.
All right, he also saved the distortion too, just to see if there was anybody else chasing him or cutting him off. And a good little slow from Pat just disengages that while Sweeper comes through. We do find a ward kill, and Kez and Pat are just 1v1ing up here. Massacre comes out. He's going to get that extra attack range. Misses the Dark Flight, but it doesn't really matter. Red Buff slowing him out. Pat finds a solo kill. That is something that he definitely needs to come back in to this game. Even though he's 2 and 3 now, he's a little bit lacking on the ganks. He's kind of been trying to farm up and come back in. And it will definitely help him out. A little bit of an overextension there from Kez, but you know, really, really good play from Curse Academy.
All right, and Curse Academy, I mean, they really need to start making those big, good plays because we're narrowing that 20-minute mark, and 20-minute mark's always a good time to say, all right, what do the Dragons look like? What does the gold count look like? Get an idea coming into the mid-game, who's ahead, where, and why. And currently, the answer to that why is just a straight-up better start from C9T. They played more aggressively. They were the ones that dictated the pace with Kez's early dives top lane, and just an overall lane performance better for C9T. And now already, here's on the hunt. We've got the CC from Glebe Glarbu. We've already got, Altex in there. And coming up behind, I think Rux bit off a little bit more than he could chew.
Yazuki got silenced up there. He could not do anything else. Pat gets his passive popped, and the Satchel Charge knocks him back, and Altec picks up the kill with the auto attack. Rux gets soloed out by Yazuki, and at this point, a LeBlanc this far behind really is going to be doing no damage. Going to try to silence up, but, you know, Rise is scaling in the mid game with him having this kind of build already. I don't really see any way for like him to die, and he just outputs so much damage. They get a flash. Tibbers there. Auto Duosec. He finds the bomb as well from Ziggs, but flashes away and body slams away. That's a tier 2 going down, and most likely an inhibitor with this 5-man push.
Yeah, this 5-man push is not going to stop early. I mean, you can play it safe and just take the turret and back off. But when you're already winning 5v5s, there's not a whole lot of reason to stop. Now, Arrow does land onto Yazuki, gets pulled in. There's the knockup. He actually should die here, but what's the cost going to be here for these K1 Pro taken low and nothing else off of that? So just finding a pick. Nice there for Curse Academy. They do keep their inhibitor alive, but unfortunately they will lose, or C9T will lose Lomo Nation, who, for the purposes of all of you guys watching who are unfamiliar, is Yazuki. It's not like some weird role swap up there.
No. The one thing, though, that Curse Academy have, those arrows, if they do start landing, they can look for picks. Explosive Cast can completely disposition people. Arrow to Death's End, it's probably one of the scariest things you can look out for. But other than that, you know, Dark Flight to follow up. Rux can try to farm back in. He's got a needlessly large rod at this point. Just completely gave up on going for that Athene, so looking for the extra damage, trying to do something for his team. I'm not sold on this top LeBlanc pick just yet, you know. Still have quite a bit of game left of this. The inhibitor is open top. Could see Lemonation just keep pushing up there and try to take it down. But we've seen Rise try to push turrets. It's pretty much like slapping the turret when Rise auto attacks it.
Yeah, it's for Rise, he's one of the slowest early turret pushers out there, or even late turret pushers, because he builds mana, doesn't build AP, and he already has very low attack damage. So it's like, what stat are you going to build to push turrets better? I mean, later on, maybe he wave clears, but yeah, the Bloodthirster Rise. Not anytime soon. But I was going to say, hey, Lich Bane would work better. But there's actually the flash snare onto Rux. Going to pop that mirror images, actually start DPSing the wrong one. Figures out which one is actually Rux. We're looking for the last overload. But it's not going to be enough. Rux actually will pick up the counter kill on Yuzuki in the 1v2.
All right, so nice little play to get Rux a kill and to help him out in that lane. It was 2v1 and Rise almost did pick off one. So a little bit scary for him in there. Rux had a flash away, but the overload came out. He was probably like gasping for air as that hit. He was like, I lived. But now Dragon could be the second one of the game. Oh, third one of the game, excuse me, going over Cloud9, Tempest. And it's going to be a nice little gold lead for them still as they get that 8,000 gold lead. Looking to roam around, looking to clear out the waves. And red buff going to get tossed over to Match. He already has double buffs. There we go. So what are they going to do next?
Well, for Curse Academy, they have to be in full defensive mode, but it's going to be increasingly harder and harder to defend their objectives because Cloud9 HyperX Tempest really just have such a huge mobility advantage. And that's what you saw in that big double kill top lane for C9T. They just popped that on the hunt earlier and just like, hey, you can't get away. A stun on, a stun from Glaive onto Rux. Just said, hey, stay here, wait a while. I'm going to take a trip back out of your jungle. After dropping some extra ward coverage. So Cloud9 HyperX Tempest, they go where they please, and there's not a whole lot that Curse Academy can really do to stop them.
Not at all, and back to farming we go. We have seen Rux take a minor CS advantage, and that kill helping him out quite a bit. He's got his DFG, so not going for Athenes. He still has the Chalice he's sitting on. Could look for it a little bit later on. And the push is coming in from all these lanes as they want to get that 3-man top. Probably going to make it a 4-man when Kez roams over there and try to put their builds to use. Zephyr was an early buy for Altec here. So a lot of attack speed, some tenacity, and even that movement speed is huge. So I actually have never seen this before.
Yeah, it's the super fast Sivir build. Also, I don't know, Altec kind of channeling his inner Genja. Not sure. We'll need to request like a selfie out of him after this to see if he's gone full Genja. Oh, the dive though. Altec just blows up a huge engage, but now we're going to have to see if Curse Academy have what it takes to finish it off. A massive crit from Curse's AD carry will pick up one kill, and now Mashme looking to get even more massive as the fight goes on. Also does have the, no static Shiv either there, so I was going to say Mash Shiv, but it's just not happening for me today. Doing all I can, and Curse Academy doing all they can, find 2 kills and keep their inhibitor alive.
And no one died. That was actually really impressive, really good hold. Those are the engages that Ashe Arrow do have available to you. You can use them pretty efficiently like that, find somebody out. Especially if Sivir doesn't spell shield, it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
And the Rux Gragas damage, the Rux LeBlanc and then Duos X Gragas damage, pretty big at this point. So we're going to see anything else that they can throw out while Pat gets chunked through. Ashby looking to push up this turret, but Yuzuki not going to let that happen.
And it's nice to see Curse Academy not giving anything away for free. They're just like, hey, our inhibitor's here. It's very vulnerable. We could just play passive and let you guys poke it down really scared, or we could hard engage, catch your AD carry, and really punish Altec for some pretty questionable positioning. Anytime your AD carry dies in front of the rest of your team, you got to think about what was happening there.
That positioning was a little off point. That Zephyr maybe putting up too fast. He's like, well, where am I? Oh my god, I'm in front of the front team. Oh god, all right, I'm sorry, team. But I still want to see how that plays out. That's how much is his effort? It's 2,800-ish, I think, in total, because that could have been, you know, a Shiv part of a Last Whisper, or just a whole Last Whisper because he already had Zeal.
Yeah, Zephyr is one of the most expensive items in the game for the stats that it gives you.
24, I forget.
But it's I don't know. It's definitely not standard by any means. What it does allow you, like you said, is a ton of early mobility, and it also gives you tenacity. And tenacity on an 80 carry is actually a pretty cool thing to have, unless you just get, chain stunned and knocked up and have all of those crazy things happen that Curse Academy threw at him. And then I don't know what item you're going to have to build. Maybe like Banshee's Veil, GA, and Spell Shield to get out alive. But it's going to take a lot if you're like Altec and find yourselves maybe a little ahead of your team.
Okay. Oh, teleport coming in from the side now. Kez going to look for an ultimate. Does get 3. Gets knocked into the wall, though. There's a beautiful bomb from Bishu. Hits on a 3. Timbers comes in. Stuns up a lot of them. They're going to chase out on the Mash Me here. Can they find the kill, though? Needs one more hate spike or overload. Barrel comes out. Destinus connects. And Lomo Nation's going to get crit underneath the turret. And a turret will finish him as Mash Me will find the last hit on that one. And very aggressive play from C9T, but really good disengage from Curse Academy, as well as a good kite, and then an overextensive dive from Cloud9 Tempest.
Yeah, that's the second time they've gone just a little bit too deep and wound up paying the price. Those auto crits from Ash, man, I did not think that would be such a big deciding factor, but especially with the Infinity Edge and Static Shiv both in there, you can guarantee not only, well, actually it works differently now because the Static Shiv has a separate critical strike chance roll than your auto attack. So you have to hit 2 crits. Only one of those, of course, will be guaranteed by Ash's auto attack. So it gives you more chances to crit, but it doesn't work quite as well as it used to, giving you both crits at the same time.
All right, and with that Infinity's Edge and Shiv built up, he'll be critting plenty. Looking for his Last Whisper next, so going for a bunch of extra damage. Late game Ash is actually one of the scarier because she does have the guaranteed crit, as well as with Infinity's Edge, it does actually activate that passive, so helps the crit hit even harder. And when she does pick up some survivability, maybe a Banshees or a GA, we could see her actually be a huge threat, especially with arrow initiations too. If she finds Bishu or she finds possibly Gleek Blabber, those targets are going to get blown up. Now, Bishu going to walk in, get silenced, and blown up. Pat finds the kill, and that not going to be dragging just yet. There's 20 seconds left on that timer, but that's what you get for face check-in. Where's the scrying orb, huh?
And this is the point in the game where Cloud9 HyperX Tempest have some huge advantages. They've got a gigantic top laner that Rise, even though he got shut down early, has...
the arrow hit! He flashes, gets tested, is chained to blown up, and that'll be Rux on a killing spree. And Ash, this is what you pick her for, the picks. Picks per days, and now double distorting in onto Altec. He does not actually pop Spell Shield there. Actually, he popped it earlier, that's why I was on cooldown. So then we'll find a tier 2 to take down here. Curse Academy clawing their way back in slowly, now looking for a dragon rotation after that nice pick.
Wow, all right, the turnarounds. Curse off of a big defense mid and then defending their turret very, very admirably. We'll find not one but 2 picks there off of Bishu face checking around a corner. Now Mega Inferno Bomb's going to come in, but it's just not enough to steal it away. Pat will take that one down, and Duosec grabs the kill onto the dragon, but I don't know, man. We're starting to see the mid-game solidly roll around. You've got 80 carries almost in the same spot, and with the buy on Zephyr from Altec, that means he's not going to have any additional armor penetration, so that stat will be very effective. The only problem is with double AP, you probably shouldn't see too much armor out there anytime
that's
soon.
That's about it. Just 2 Zanyas, maybe. They're looking to possibly stop, fooling around and roaming around solo, so they're going to look for a 5-man push up top here from Cloud9. While Curse Academy respond, looking for wards, looking for possible more picks. But Gragas, now Duosec, looking for pink wards to end up finding 2. So going to grant themselves some vision denial away from C9T. And they're kind of setting up around this Baron side. Ooh, that sweeper did end up running off for Rux there. And try to secure that this objective will not be taken and can be safe so they can look for more pushing potential and such. But C9T going to do the same and back off of going for a 5-man push top. I'm surprised they really are just leaving that inhibitor open. I really would like to see more pressure on it.
Yeah, and especially with an Evelynn, there's always that chance of being backdoored, especially after watching what the KT Bullets did to Gambit earlier on this week at IEM. I'm going to be watching my backdoors just a little bit more carefully now and make sure that things like that open inhibitor have a little bit of a contingency plan, at least some protection to stop them from being so vulnerable. But for C9T, theoretically, they should still be able to win these team fights just because they have some great damage follow-up. But when you look at follow-up, even if it's not the most damaging, it's just been working out so well from Curse Academy. Making those picks, you've got Death Sentences, Ash Arrows, Explosive Casks, dives in from Pat, and it's been too much for Altec to handle. Maybe not necessarily too much for him to handle, but just making him pay for some questionable positioning.
And, all right. Bubuff's going to get tossed over. Rux or Duosec going to snag that one away. We'll get the Duosec there. Body slamming it, barreling it down. Looks like some deep boards coming on this blue side. Kez is kind of sneaking around in stealth. Does find a pink board for himself. While Rux is split pushing, he doesn't have to teleport to join the team. While Yazuki is grouped up, not dealing with that split push. There's also champion boots. Is that what that is? That aura, what is that? Yeah, those are champion boots on Sivir.
Or captain boots.
Captain boots, excuse me.
It's true. When you have On the Hunt, it gives you more of a move speed bonus than it does the rest of your team. It splits that in half and again shares that one around. So when you have that, a spell shield there. That feel when your arrow
hit the invisible Evelyn with the Banshee's Veil.
Disappears. Perfect play there by Kez, really making that worth. And Banshee's Veil comes up a lot more quickly, now 25 seconds, as long as you're out of combat, instead of like the 60-second cooldown that it was earlier. But now this is the position that Cloud9 HyperX Tempest were in when Curse Academy almost just came back. There's a hook on to Altec. The explosive cast blows them apart there at the end, and Altec once again not finding it, but a mega bomb over the wall coming out from, I guess, it was Ziggs who threw that in there. I'm not sure who else throws bombs in there, but now it's going to be punishing Mash Me for stepping a little bit too close. He's definitely seen her bare tibbers after that one.
Yep, and with that, it's going to be a 4-for-1 in favor of Cloud9, C9T. They're going to look to rotate towards possibly Baron, just clearing out wards, maybe baiting it and forcing Duosec to chase after. Bishu with a perfect bomb finds 2 kills on just the edge of it. That was a really, really good bomb. And then they assassinated Altec early, but I don't think they were too worried. They were like, all right, they just used a bunch to kill him. Let's go in. Rux blew up. Pat died at the end. Bashme had no escape. He had a flash, but decided not to use it. Tried to pop barrier to save himself, but just wasn't enough. And they'll back off. They're not going to go for Baron. Nothing too risky. Buy up. And looks like Infinity's Edge is going to be the third item for Altec. So starting to build a little bit more crit heavy and a lot more damage.
And man, this game is so back and forth. Now, top inhibitor is down. That's the big result. And even though Altec keeps getting caught, it's the same thing for Mashme. Even though he can carry super hard, he's just so immobile that sooner or later he has to get in range of an Annie. And unless the rest of his team's there to deal with it, you can't just blow all of your explosive everything onto Altec. You have to save something to keep Rise from just, I don't know, running amok amongst your team, kind of like he finished that last fight off.
All right, and with Aatrox passive down now, it's pretty much just an extra life away from Pat. He has to be really careful with his initiations. Can't just blindly Dark Flight into a team. Kez is looking for a scouting out of that red buff or anything. And now we're pretty much going to be at a little bit of a standpoint where Rux is going to try to deal with the super minions that are going to come bashing into that front door. They don't really have like a hard tank or anything to like combat those, so he has to be careful with how he kites it. And Void Staffs coming through for both APCs in Curse Academy side, and the one for Bishu now completed, so those bombs are going to hurt.
Yeah, calling them APCs reminded me of like playing like Advance Wars. And you got the armored personnel carriers. They're just like driving around. Man, that was a good game. So gonna go play that after this. But for right now, we're talking about the AP carries, of course, and about, like you said, the lack of a real tank for. I mean, when you look at Curse Academy, they've got Aatrox and he's built tanky, but I'm just not sure that's really what they need right now. They need more of like a tanky Bruce that actually still does a lot of damage. And I mean, Pat would love to just sit there and like auto attack a bunch, but he's not going to get that option.
He'll never get that option.
Whereas for Kez, he has a huge shield that he gets when he runs into the fight. He's built very tanky with a butt ton of just straight up magic resistance. He's got the Hexdrinker, Mercury Treads, and that Banshee's Veil that has been kind of the MVP, blocking Ash Arrows and really keeping him safe, making those initiations possible.
And they might be looking for something if anybody extends mid, so Ward's going to come over the wall, they're pinging, they're like, oh, they're over here, don't walk in. So use that time to clear out the brushes, and Kez will use that time to solo out a dragon before he joins his team. So they're going to get them a little bit more gold, 6,000 gold lead at this point, while the Hawk shot comes through, the Dove shot. They're like, all right, no one's going to check this, let's just go in, reveal ourselves, and push down this mid lane.
All right, so it looks like the mid lane push is the order of business here for Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. They will have super minions shoving in top, so it's a good lane to push. Ash Arrow will get spell shielded. It was, I want to say, great reaction there from Altec, but you can see that one coming a mile away. I guess it was up to Kez. He's like, hey, do I want to take this one with my spell shield? Decides to give some extra mana back there towards Altec.
Yep, and that's the counter that we warned you guys about. You know, you throw out the arrow, get the spell shield, the godlike reaction, and pretty much you lose a lot of the initiation potential. Sweeper coming in this Baron, but they know it's not warded up. They clear out the outside, and with that ward dropped over the wall, they'll see them waiting around the side. Pat's like, all right, we got to check this one. Hawkshot comes in really good, pretty much better than the blue trinket. Can spot them out and be like, all right, they're not doing Baron. Just back out, get this blue buff, and keep it safe.
All right, well, talking about keeping things safe, it's the safety of the base right now for Cursed Academy, but primarily, I guess, Baron Nashor. It always kind of surprised me that, like, Baron Nashor is like, wow, these guys spent like 35 minutes farming up some really high damaging items. They're obviously in this pit to be friends.
Yes, and Pat now checks in. They pop the Talisman and the Hunt. There is no way he's going to get out.
Oh, my God.
Bloodwell passive comes through. They drop the mines, they drop the bombs, and they drop his life. As that'll be the one for none, and the Baron started up here without a smite from Cursed Academy. They're not going to start Baron, just kidding. They're going to go look to push down that inhibitor again, or just the top lane in general.
I mean, it's almost never a good idea to do Baron when the enemy jungler smites up. When you kill the smite, it's up to you to say, well, what's the best advantage we can get off of that? Taking down an inhibitor is a great way to start, and now they can actually either continue pushing down that bottom lane and take out maybe a Nexus turret, but we're going to... you can see Rux was trying to blow some skills there, didn't actually get any of it.
Wow.
A knock in there, DPS on to Rise Force the flash out there from the Azuki, but it's just not going to be enough. There's Tibbers going to come down there, but it's going to be a rough day to beat K1 Pro. The bounce from the Spell Flux.
Oh, wow.
There was
really good play.
There was much wow to be had there in that team fight. And once again, a 1-for-2 exchange. So not the worst of team fights, but starting to lose more and more of Cursed Academy's base.
All right, so good job. They get one Nexus turret, slowly working down that top lane. Gonna look to go back to base and shop once again. They do end up losing Gleek Larbu, but they pick up 3.
Gleep, every single fight there, it's a rough day to be Annie. She just runs in, it's like, CC, Tibbers, and then she just dies every single time. So it's rough for Gleep, but he's had some crazy engages, and like we said, has been present in as many kills as Cursed Academy actually have. So C9T, very, very high sort of shared kill participation. You can even see, especially on Kez, and that's the impressive thing. When you look at junglers, kills are cool, but kills don't allow junglers to carry games. It's the assists that allow them to carry because they're giving the kills to somebody else.
Mm-hmm. And as we see them try to hold up this top lane, that frees up a lot of pressure around the map for C9T. Cursed Academy looking to relieve some of that. They're giving red buff to Mashme. He's got a Blade of the Rune King now. So going to have that extra attack speed, going to be able to heal up a little bit in a fight if he doesn't get blown up instantly, and can kite away before he gets flash Tibber down or something crazy. I still question this Ashe pick. I always will. Just people choose. I love seeing fresh picks, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that they picked something that we haven't seen pretty much ever. I just don't think it really works. This meta doesn't allow for it because you get all these mobility champions just running on low over you and stampeding over you. It's really rough, but now Ward's coming down this Baron side. Dragon's up in 2 minutes. I don't think the team's really worried about that. And it looks like C9T going to try to bait it out and start it out, or just clear it out. And the Dove shot will spot them out again. Oh, Scrying Orb.
We've got the, like you mentioned, Scrying Orb.
Oh, Rux! Face checking there and getting prisoned up and sentenced to death.
It's true. You can't escape the prison. You're not allowed. It's against the law. And right now, the sheriffs are Cloud9 HyperX Tempest.
That was really interesting. And that's going to be a free Baron, though, with that death. No distortion steals this time.
And that was kind of what Duosec was most well known for, is playing LeBlanc mid and then getting a Baron steal. I forget who exactly it was. I think it was it Complexity Black? I can't remember the team.
When they were subbing in a jungle? Was it against Odd Orange? I don't know. Whatever.
It was a rough day to be their opponents with crazy LeBlanc plays for Cursed Academy, but the top lane not really working out. And once again, the spell shield from Kez just really preventing any of these picks from working out.
Oh, okay. Spell Shield comes in, and if that hit, he would have fizzled away anyway. We're looking at a push-down bot here. Super Minion's still barging in up that top lane. Descendants comes out, does not connect. Arrow comes through, gets Spell Shielded up again. And
this is ridiculous. There are too many spell shields.
Why are you rejecting his love, Altec? He just wants to shoot Cupid's arrow into you.
I don't think I'd be too happy about that either. So I'm not really faulting C9T for spell shielding all of these, but man, it's a rough day to be an Ashe, not only because you have to hit your arrows, but then you have to make sure that you hit them on valuable targets that don't have Banshee's Veils or spell shields or anything crazy like that. But at the same time, it's just great planning from C9T. Ooh, man.
He's playing with his life every time he
Rux
doesn't
doesn't know. He's just not learning his lesson. He's like, keep darting in there, keep darting in there. And one of these days, he's going to die.
All right, Sasha starts disengaged. This is Mikhail Crucible as well to keep him alive. Pat's in the back line, though, trying to kite this one out. We already do have 2 dead on the side of C9T. That's the bot lane going down. DFG goes in onto Lomo Nation, but he's able to kite away. Pat's passive is popped. And now they're going to disengage, avoid most of that damage from Ziggs. Maybe not give up the push onto this inhibitor with 3 members. I feel like if Curse Academy home guard and pick up some more kills here, that would be a really, really good play for them, and they really need that to come back in. Oh, never mind, they back out. Okay, so they're going to save their Baron.
Yeah, just staying as safe as possible. Cloud9, HyperX, Tempest, they almost threw the game in that mid lane phase when the kill count got very narrowly even. But you can really see, maybe not the kill count, but the gold count definitely continue to rise in Cloud9, HyperX, Tempest's favor. And just clearing out wards, Curse Academy are doing the most that they possibly can, but they're just getting starved out of their jungle, have every objective being taken against them, and just over time, Cloud9, HyperX, Tempest are going to get to that big point that there's not a whole lot Curse Academy can do for them. The problem that I'm noticing right now is that Altec still doesn't have a defensive item, and every single fight is just getting blown up for free, and sooner or later, that's actually going to matter.
So the idea with that build is, I guess he's looking to put out all the damage he can before he dies. Those Boomerang Blades are chunking. He's got all the armor pen he can need. He's pretty much going to be a speed bot for the team, too, with those champion boots.
Captain boots.
Captain boots. Oh, my God. I keep calling them champion boots. Why do I keep
I mean,
calling
all
champion?
boots are champion boots.
I guess. True. Captain boots, he's trying to lead the team to a successful fight as well as an initiation. He also speeds up the minions, too, with those. He speeds up the minions with his ultimate. I don't know. Maybe Furor would have been okay, or Distortion to help with the flash. Or I'm trying to think why he got Captain Boots. I guess the initiation just helps. That's pretty much about it.
It's true, and as Sivir, you're probably going to be leading the pack on the hunt, but I don't know. The biggest thing for me to watch this game is that spell shields are so good, and Ashe versus a team with all spell shields is so bad. It's been a very long time since I've seen an Ashe arrow land, and while it looks cool when it does, like you said, you have to find a champion and make sure it doesn't have a spell shield or somebody nearby with a spell shield to block it, because I don't know, we're really going to have to see that Ashe arrow used less for long-range initiation and more towards, hey, the team fight started, there's a bruiser on me, and now I get to stun him off of me by using that Ashe arrow. Not maybe its most valuable usage, but it's basically the only option you have right now.
So, kind of a bit of a hold here from Curse Academy. They're playing a defensive, getting their buffs, make sure everything is warded up and cleared. Cloud9 Tempest, though, leading the charge is Kez, has Banshee's Veil. Everybody has a Banshee Veil that needs one, and Spell Shield for Sivir pretty much to stop the arrow. So there is no way that an arrow can hit without, taking out the Banshee's Veil first. So he needs to pretty much wait for a barrel or something to pop those shields before he does anything. That puts him at a really big disadvantage. Seeing a distortion on the wall, almost runs into Kez. He backs back out. Scrying Lens will reveal them for a little bit as Glebe Garbu's, Banshee's his pop. That's the only target that he could hit with an arrow at this point. The dove comes out. The volley goes through. Volley is actually not too bad at popping Banshee's Veils, but you still have to get through the minion waves. Barrels are coming out as well to clear these out. So C9T looking to try to push this one down, but not looking patient. They're looking like they really need to make something happen. So gets the signal, pops it. So this is what Curse Academy needs to do. They need to get all these pops. It's like they're playing a little game at the carnival where they're popping the balloons on the wall with the darts. And once those happen, you're going to see an arrow come flying right down. So that's going to be the big play.
There's the spell shield right back up for Kez. He's going to dodge away from those Blades of Torment, make sure he keeps that spell shield alive. And you can see everybody there, with the exception of Bishu, has a big spell shield. Bishu's is about to come in. Another Ash Arrow spell shield, and already you can see Rux starting to get in there, but he's just going to get jumped on by Rise, who's way too strong to deal with. Now it's going to be Pat forced to back to the fountain. All in all, not a whole lot of damage done on this inhibitor, but still going to be a dangerous push coming in here.
Spell's down, though, so that could be pretty big for Duosec if he hits anything. The inhibitor does go down. They look for the flash in from Mashme. Doing it again. Rux goes in the back line. He's going to get shredded up and taken down. Altec finds a safe position to find a kill. We do have Mashme picking up one on Keslo, trading out the top in the jungle so far. Double kill comes in as Mashme cannot escape with that flash down, so that's going to be a 2-for-1. Cloud9 Tempest find those kills. There's only one Nexus turret left. The wave's pushing in, but they decide to back out. Baron's up in 40 seconds. They're going to heal by and possibly just go rush down for that objective again, and then try to push down that bot lane, where it has the inhibitor up. That was a really hectic fight because Banshee's Veil just kept coming back up. People were like, all right, we popped it, shoot the arrow, and then arrow got blocked by a shield, and it's just like, we can't get in with all these Banshee's Veils.
I'm just saying, you have to save that arrow. If you try to start a fight with it against a team that's all spell shields, like literally every single person on the team has a spell shield from either Banshees or, of course, that spell shield on Sivir too. So, man, this is like I said, rough time to be either AD carry, really. Altec's been blowing up a whole lot and finally did decide to sell his Zephyr for a Banshee's Veil.
There you go. Smart decision right there.
He had to take a detour through Zephyrland just because,
He was testing you, okay? This is all alpha testing for the Silver build.
I mean, sure, you've seen AD carries run Zephyr if you're like Genja, but hasn't really come over here to North America, and it looks like maybe still not the best way to go at the very end
Barrels
of the game.
Hit, arrow comes out, hits on the Gleek Larbu. Spell shield forced out from Altec. There's a bomb in on the Pat, pops the passive, and now he's going to be coming to life with that Blood Well. The Baron is still dangerously low, looking for a flash, and they do find Duosec. He's flashing and getting away. The shield's coming through. Explosive cast pops the Zhonya's box to disengage, but Altec finds K1 Pro. He'll also end up finding Duosec. That's going to be a double kill. Meanwhile, the Baron is still alive, regenerating up to full HP. Rux is running away, distorting over the wall, and this should go over to Cloud9, but maybe a sneaky seal? No, they're going to back out. They're going to play it safe. And this will be the second Baron in the game over to Cloud9 Tempest, and Duosec getting flashed on there. Rise's flash initiations are just something that's really deadly late game. If you get Runic prisoned, you're going to be stuck there and just get blown up by the rest of the team.
Exactly, and especially speaking with the spell shield advantage versus disadvantage, it's just going to be so huge for C9T to be able to get in there. Oh my gosh, one auto attack takes Rux down to like half health. This is starting to get a little bit ridiculous. You got hyper carries being hyper. Now, there's no Jinx, so no truly hyper carries, but you get the idea. They're starting to do a lot of damage. And with an Ashe build that really doesn't involve a Bloodthirster, going for that Blade of the Ruined King instead, maybe for like burst healing.
Arrow again comes in, Dark Flight goes in, and Pat's passive was not popped last time, so this time it'll be popped. All the P's all over the place, and with that auto attack, there it is. Altec finds the kill, unstoppable. They're going to chase down here. Hunt coming through, Talisman as well. K1 Pro goes down, explosive casting and barrel to disengage, but cannot find anything, while Rux in the back line gets taken out, and that should be game.
Yeah, no way to get to that back line in time to deal any appreciable damage. And while Kez did drop low, so did Curse Academy. They just dropped a little bit lower and wound up dying. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, and now 4 with the untimely demise of Mashme. Had a great early game, but
teleporting on Zippers.
Mr. Tibbers getting a little bit of extra love and a few steps there on the fountain for Yuzuki as Curse Academy will fall to Cloud9 Spell Shield Tempest. It's basically their new name after a game like that. It's a rough game to play Ashe in, too. Yeah, Cloud9 HyperX Tempest. But I threw in a Spell Shield. They threw in a few more, so it's nice to see them picking up a win right before the playoffs. They've got games tomorrow, and then we're heading right into those playoffs next week. So got to get those last wins. But yeah, 12-4 and now 13-4, tying up LMQ for first place. So it's a good day to be Cloud9. They will pick up the win. Curse Academy will have a little bit more work as they are still solidly in the middle of the pack. And started had good games yesterday, but going to have some a little bit of a rougher time as they will. I think they're also playing again later on, but that's going to do it for our first game of the night. Coming up next, It's a game that some of you guys may have been waiting for. Dan's pretty excited. We're going to have Ziplock's female Doges taking on Complexity Black.
Doing this. Just
Dan's going to get ready to hop into the player share. I'm going to be joining myself here on the caster desk, so I'll also be joining all of you. So stick around. When we come back, I'll get to Casty again and see how he does taking on Complexity Black. See whose win ratio goes up, whose goes down, and a whole lot more coming your way when the North American Challenger Series returns right after this.